Hey, good morning, John, and I hope you're doing pretty well.
I'm
Good
doing
to
great,
see you after
man.
a long time.
It has been a while, but it's
Excellent.
good to see you, my friend.
Yeah, same here, same here. So, John, basically, I wanted to give a little bit heads up. You have really spent long years at Oracle, and as a former Oracle, then you started off with Bios Corporation as co-founder and the principal partner now over last 2 decades, right? So we have seen a lot of technology innovation in last couple of decades, coming from internet.com boom. Then we saw a lot of, a transition from there to cloud computing and whatnot, right? And then now since pandemic has really challenged all of us across the board, across industry, it has leveled the field in terms of where business is going, right? So I would like you to share your experience, not only what you have seen the technology evolution, but also with customers, because you have been implementing a lot of solutions with Oracle-based application services on cloud, mixed hybrid, and whatnot. Can you share some of those, experience so that we enlighten all our viewers?
Yeah, man. I was just kind of going down memory lane here when you were talking, and I remember when the dot-com rage was taking a lot of our colleagues from Oracle, and the dot-com, a lot of our guys were leaving Oracle Consulting and starting, petfood.com and all buying cars online. Everything was over a dot-com. And I remember
Mm-hmm.
the reports that came out that said, hey, we may never go back to the mall again. We may never go back to retail stores again. And, after Gates's book came out and we were talking about the digital marketplace and how that had changed. And then we had the bubble burst and, the world changed. And then we had, I guess things going from client server to internet based, e-business suite and everything else kind of went off the client server and started moving towards the internet. And then, around 2008, 2009, we had another financial crisis, and it forced companies to get even more strategic about using IT. And now here we are in 2020 with another unprecedented time in our history. And
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing to see what technology is doing right now, Alec. And, you touched on it a couple of times. It almost sounds like we're in 2000 again, and we're talking about, hey, we may never go back to the way we were before. And how are the businesses changing and evolving, right? We do a lot of work in the retail space, Office Depot, Tractor Supply, Dollar General, those guys. Wow, what a difference a year has made for those companies. They're up triple digits in the pandemic. Dollar General hired over 50,000 people in the 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
And so, we get our daily dose of how bad things are on the news, and we see all the change. And there's been some really, really, terrible things that have happened in the economy. Some of our friends in the hospitality industry, some of our friends at, Delta Airlines, completely different company now than it was a year ago, and it's downsizing and innovating and going into the next phase of their business. But it really is amazing to see how technology can lift a business up in times of crisis, and how our customers had a digital strategy that was out 5 years, and they compressed that into 3 months, Alec. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like Lowe's, they are taking online orders, pick up at curb, all those things. Their business soared through the roof, right? And they did that because they were agile. And the only way they could do
Mm-hmm.
that is, well, it took a lot of people working on the floor, mapping out those processes, and really adapting their business to Instacart and to the new way that we shop. but it is amazing to see how fast they were able to do it. You know, you take those traditional supply chains, those traditional marketplaces, and when you throw a pandemic in there and people have to change, they can count on technology to get them there. So I am an optimist, you know, in my heart, and I see that this technology really is doing a lot of good in this world right now. And I see it just continuing, and I see, you know, America, and I see this whole world economy. I see us adapting again, and we're changing, and we're going to be even better in the future. In the next 18, 24 months, you're going to see even more progress.
Excellent, John. So I'm so thrilled to hear that you are seeing the same as I'm seeing it in the US. Most of the large companies, whether retail, hospitality, banking, they're responding to this sudden change with their agility, right? And as I always say, that agility is nothing but how you're responding to sudden change. Unless you are agile in responding to the change, you will not be able to survive and exist, right? So most of the companies, like you have just given an example of Lowe's, within 3 months, they have completely changed the whole digital strategy. They fast-tracked their digital strategy from 5 years to 3 months. So obviously now you see that digital or e-commerce is the name of the game. People have looked at that, and that is not an option, but rather that has to work hand in gloves with bricks and mortars to e-commerce strategy. Now, switching the gear in terms of doing more with less. Obviously, now in this particular situation where companies have been hit badly, now they are challenged by resources, how they can cut down, optimize resources. They're also looking at how that process can be automated. Certain tasks of onboarding customers, certain tasks of fulfillment of that orders, inventory management, all of that, and looking at also how your supply chain logistics are going to be automated. So can you share some of those nuances which you have seen with these large companies in the US and how you are addressing them?
So again, Alec, you know, we've been doing this for a long time, and we do a lot of work in the logistics industry. You know, I talked to you a little bit about Delta a minute ago, but we also work a lot in logistics. And I remember in 2000 when the UPS Air Hub went live, and it was the first automated sorting facility. And the first, you know, and just to see how that facility went from, you know, 0 to now, I think they ship 416,000 packages in an hour. Isn't that amazing? You know, and now they're doing more business than they've ever done in their history, right? Same thing with FedEx, and you know their business is booming this year. I see a lot, and it all evolves around, you know, as our computer power, as our computers become more powerful, our applications are having to be smarter, and they're having to learn a little bit faster. And so we have to go in and we have to help automate those processes as much as possible. You know, we can't, you know, it's just not efficient to have, you know, 100 people on a line sorting packages when you can do it with cameras and tilt belts that send those packages to the right places, right? And so I see it happening in every industry. You know, Florida Naturals, you know, is one of our customers. They were working on systems that were 30 years old. We installed Oracle SaaS for them, and it allowed them to automate so much more of their business. And, you know, they're just poised for growth now. And we really see it in every industry, from manufacturing to healthcare to hospitality to retail to banking. You know, no one goes in a bank anymore, right? I do everything on my phone. Everything on my phone.
Absolutely. Yep.
You remember having to go to the bank on a Friday to, you know, deposit your check?
Right. Yep.
Amazing, man. And so I just see so much, I see so much opportunity. I see so much more for us to do. Every industry that I talked about, they've identified some, and then there's 100 other processes behind it that could be automated. Our business, completely different than it was when we started. We're having to evaluate and evolve constantly. As you know, Moore's law, right? This a 3-year-old iPhone is completely antiquated now, right? And in our
Absolutely.
business,
Yep.
the same services or the same technology that we were using 3 years ago is antiquated. It's even moving faster than that now. So we have to constantly keep innovating and keep looking out for what's next and looking at the different hybrid technologies coming in from these newer vendors, as well as the enterprise, big vendors that you and I have worked for so many years.
Yeah. So this is very fascinating to see how most of the companies have started evaluating to automate their processes. But in the same token, I mean, they are also generating a lot of data. Now, people have started recognizing the value of data. Somebody is saying data is new fuel. Somebody is saying, hey, data is a new employee, need to be hired, trained, and then get the benefit of those, right? So how do you see that data is going to play an important role for these companies in this current situation? Whether the data will only help in, let's say, reporting, dashboarding, analytics, or that also can help them for predictive, prescriptive, guided analytics. So can you share some of it? Yeah.
Yes. So, Alec, I love telling stories. I have, it's one of my favorite things to do. And one of my friends started a healthcare company, and they do wound clinics all over the United States, right? So like diabetic wound clinics, that kind of thing. And he went in and he was analyzing their business, and he said, hey, we do these procedures. They have 20 different types of procedures they do, right? They also have charts on every one of those procedures. They know what kind of treatments work better for each one of those wounds. And they have pictures and they have data on efficacy on those different treatments. So they look at their business completely different now than they did 3 years ago, where it was, hey, let's send in nurses, a doc, we're going to get these people patched up and get them out the door. And it's not so much about how fast we turn them. Now it's, hey, we're looking at that patient and we're saying, hey, which one of these treatments is going to work best on Alec? Because we've seen similar, they're able to do that analysis before they even show up. That you tell them about what your problems are. They go, okay, well, I've got about 5 or 6 things that I know might work. Once you get there, they can plug into 1 or 2 or 3 treatments, and then they can analyze how that treatment works over the next, 2, 3, 6 weeks. And then now you've got a protocol that you can use going forward. So their biggest asset now isn't the doctor or the nurse necessarily. All those things are always there. You're always going to have customer care. It's the data behind the efficacy of those treatments. That's what there is. That's the biggest asset they have now.
Right, and that is across industries verticals. Whether the banks, they are going back to the data which they can harvest, they can data mine in, and then they can do all the business tweaking across. The retail is again the same, like they're looking at their last data, and they're also looking at some of the data sets which is coming from systems of engagement, like from social or from log files or all of that, right? Or machine
my
devices
Amazon this
data.
Morning, right? It prescribed me what I needed, right? I can order all my groceries and some new running shoes because it's been a while.
Absolutely. Yeah. So talking about now, since everybody is thinking and talking about, hey, customer is the main focus, right? Customer, employees, and the ecosystem partners. Now, how do we listen to these 3 major entities of the business? Are we listening to customers efficiently? Are we also listening to our employees across the globe? Are we also talking to our ecosystem partners who are helping us to succeed? What are the mechanisms which is going to help you listen? Are you taking care of, let's say, customer instant feedback mechanism,
Sure.
correcting the things which is important, or people are talking about, hey, loyalty is of the past. Now we need to really incorporate everything instantly so that we should not do anything without incorporating their feedback, right? So people are talking about net promoter score. Bank has started marketing NPS based on the customer feedback, right? Similarly, are you also thinking towards EQ score, emotional quotient score? Now, these are the new transition which basically coming in from the social sentiment data, right? How I am empathizing the business, how I'm empathizing my customer, how I'm empathizing with employees. So that the EQ score is also very, very important in current situation. Can you also share your experience, something on those lines?
You know, Alec, we do net promoter score here at Bias. And you know, we are constantly surveying our customers every quarter. We do quarterly business reviews. So we're trying to gather all that data. I get alerts from Glassdoor immediately as soon as something pops up, and I respond immediately. And then, you know, we don't really have Yelp reviews in our industry like you would have in hospitality. You know, you get that instant feedback, and then you have to quickly respond. So that's kind of a blind spot for us, to be honest. You know, it's hard to know because I love attending quarterly business reviews. I love being in front of customers. I'm always asking, you know, how can we help you more? You know, what are the pains that you're seeing in your business? And then we're trying to adapt to that. But you know, that EQ score would be really, I don't know exactly how you would measure it all the time, but it's certainly a need. You know, that's one of the things in our industry too, Alec, is that that is a blind spot for most technologies, is the EQ side of it, right? Because we go in and we fix something and it's a win, right? But we don't know if it's really what happens downstream, right? Just because
absolutely.
There could be something broken down here, and we don't know the true customer sentiment because it could still be the weak part could be over here. So yeah, I think that's something that people would really want.
Absolutely. So as you know, John, Centriqe is, you know, I started a journey with building this robust platform to offer not only the process automation engine with robotics, with this chatbot, which has, let's say, intelligent process automation, understanding conversation-based process automation. And then Centriqe is also building robust response mechanism system, which is response AI, all AI ML enabled, so that you are listening, customers, employees, ecosystem partners, all giving you intelligent feedback, which can be corrected and accommodated in the business instantly. Then we are also looking at addressing business profitability, managing your revenue stream and the cost streams dynamically, based on the processes, based on the cost and revenue stream, based on the AI. So that is going to help the business leaders weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, and giving them the guidance with the guidepost. That is going to be a game changer for the business leaders. That's what Centriqe is now getting into the path of building of this platform. And I will be more than happy to give you details on that. But to your customer, just on a concluding note, what do you like to give a message in this tough time, so that your customer walk away with one or two valid points so that they should be able to implement it in next 3 months?
I would say you likely own the tools that you need. You likely have a lot of the tools that you need. You can use this as an opportunity to leapfrog your competition and, you know, look at some of the examples that we've mentioned before in this meeting here. Those companies didn't shriek. Those companies didn't say, "Hey, we're just gonna, you know, put the shields up and not do anything, right? We're going to take this opportunity to make some improvements, to cut some costs, and maybe it's, you know, you can give up on some of this tech debt that you've had, that you've maintained for 50 years, and then you can bring in some new technology. You know, you can breathe some new technology air into your systems, and see what that does to the performance of your business. I recommend that people take action in this time, and don't, you know, like a boxer, don't turtle up. You know, get out there, start throwing some punches, right? That's what you have to do. And if you do that, you're going to be so far ahead of your competition. Like those retailers I mentioned earlier, every one of them was impacted by the Amazon economy. And now look, they're, you know, triple digits higher than they were just, you know, 2 quarters ago. And that's inspiring to me. You know, when Macy's.com, you know, when their digital platform, I was watching CNBC, they said, you know, their digital platform is bigger than the brick and mortar now. You know, they have all that in the physical locations, but their online presence is so strong, it's going to propel the business because it's got such a strong brand. So I just, again, I'm optimistic, and I see this as a great opportunity for our you know, our not only American business, but global business out there to streamline and then take that next leap. Like we've seen it happen so many times in our career.
Right. So as a net, what you're suggesting, introspect your business processes, examine what you have on the technology, embrace the emerging technology which can take you to the next level of e-commerce, make your business more, process optimized so that you can do more with less. Leverage data, which can give you some predictable insights of your customer, products, and your employees so that you can be profitable at the end. This time is introspection time, right? So I must thank you so much, John, for your time. And I'm hopeful that people will love it, your insights, and they will listen to you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I wish you the best. It's so good to see you again.